Jorge Martin, the reigning MotoGP world champion, was supposed to be Aprilia's star signing for 2025. Known for his aggressive style and championship pedigree, he was expected to lead the Italian team into a new chapter after Aleix Espargaro's retirement. But just 10 races into a 22-round season, that dream has unraveled into one of the year's most chaotic storylines, filled with injuries, contract drama, and growing tension inside the team. Now, with the season nearing its halfway point, Martin is gearing up for his long-awaited comeback at the Czech Grand Prix. But behind his cheerful appearance at Misano and the disappointment at Sachsenring is a deeper frustration, one that could end up redefining his entire MotoGP journey. Martin has missed 9 of the first 10 races. His only appearance in a Grand Prix this year ended before completing a single lap. In his absence, Aprilia had to rely on new recruit Marco Bezzecchi and test rider Lorenzo Savadori. While Savadori struggled to make an impact, Bezzecchi stepped up, and that's where the dynamic started to shift. After 3 months of recovery, Martin finally returned to a MotoGP bike, helped by a new rule pushed through by Aprilia that lets riders who've missed more than 3 races take part in private testing. He rode 64 laps around the Misano circuit in a one-day test on the RSGP 25. It's been a really difficult road to get here, but after 3 months, I'm finally back on a MotoGP bike, and I'm super happy, Martin said. We built things up little by little, got a lot of work done, and I'm feeling great about what's next. But behind that optimism was a rider, slowly realising that the team he joined had moved on without him. Martin came to Aprilia with hopes of being the main man after Espargaro stepped away, but in the time he's been sidelined, Bezzecchi has taken over the spotlight. According to reports from AS, Aprilia mechanics are now openly referring to Bezzecchi as their team leader. And he's earned that status. Bezzecchi hasn't just stayed afloat, he's flourished. He claimed victory at the British Grand Prix in tricky conditions and landed double podiums at Assen. Currently sitting 6th in the riders' standings, he's built strong momentum and formed a real connection with the RSGP 25. It's a situation Jorge Martin can't overlook. One insider from Aprilia admitted to the media, "It'll be tougher starting from the test," acknowledging that the vibe in the garage had clearly shifted during Martin's 3-month absence. That shift lies at the heart of Martin's growing frustration, something that first surfaced during his early return laps on a modified Aprilia street bike in Barcelona before he got back on the full RSGP at Misano. Martin didn't hold back when talking about the experience. "At first I did 8 or 9 laps, but now it feels like I've done a lot more," he said on his YouTube channel. "Yes, it annoys me to have to ask to come back into the pits, but I think it's normal. When you've had 12 broken ribs, it's going to hurt." But the physical pain wasn't the only thing bothering him. Behind the scenes, Martin was reportedly caught off guard by how much the team had emotionally and operationally moved on. He was no longer the centre of attention. Aprilia's focus had shifted to Bezzecchi. Development was moving forward without him. What Martin returned to was a bike and a team that no longer revolved around him. And for a rider who once had clear leadership within the squad, that change stung. Then there's the legal battle. Italian legal experts aren't too hopeful about Martin's odds in court. The case would be handled in Milan, where Italian law is likely to lean in Aprilia's favour. That opens the door to either a messy settlement or the uncomfortable possibility of being forced to stay. Internally, Aprilia's staff admit the ongoing legal tensions are making everyday interactions more strained. Even as Martin continues his recovery, things aren't getting any easier. Aprilia is refusing to discuss any sort of buyout for an early release. At the same time, they're reportedly demanding a sky-high compensation fee if Martin insists on leaving. On the other side, Martin already has a contract on the table from Honda, a 3-year deal through 2028. But sources within the Japanese team now suggest that some higher-ups aren't thrilled about the public drama surrounding Martin's attempted departure. His absence from the grid and the off-track noise have apparently raised internal concerns, putting Martin in a tough spot. If Aprilia won't release him without a huge payout and Honda starts backing away due to the controversy, the reigning champ could find himself stuck between two teams, one that's moved on and another that might be getting cold feet. Ironically, the one thing that could actually fix things between Martin and Aprilia is the bike itself. Despite all the tension, the RSGP25 is proving to be one of the top machines on the grid. Aprilia is currently second in the constructor standings, even with Savadori barely contributing to the points. Bezzecchi's results show that the RSGP can genuinely compete with Ducati, especially on fast tracks. If Martin's input after the Brno test helps take the RSGP to another level, there's a real chance Aprilia could be back in title contention in 2026.
Carlo Perna, one of MotoGP's most experienced voices, summed it up perfectly. If Martin ends up getting back on the bike at Brno and it clicks, if he feels good again and rediscovers the rider's rhythm he's been missing, he might just let go of everything that's happened and accept the open arms Aprilia is still holding out to him. That's a big if, but it's not off the table yet. Even if Martin does decide to stay, the garage around him won't be what it once was. Bezzecchi has gone from shaky to standout. After struggling with 14th place finishes at Jerez and Le Mans, he turned things around with 4 straight top 4 results, highlighted by a win at Silverstone and podiums at Assen. The team has stepped up for him too, solving rear-end issues with a new tyre setup and refining the RSGP25 to suit his style more. Right now, Bezzecchi isn't just Aprilia's top scorer, he's become the emotional and technical centre of the squad. As Jack Appleyard put it bluntly, "I'll stick my neck out," Bezzecchi's been the most impressive rider of the pre-season. With momentum like that, even if Martin returns, reclaiming his position as the clear team leader won't be easy. Martin's comeback at Brno, assuming the doctors give him the green light, will be his first time racing since that brutal crash under the lights in Qatar. It could end up being the defining moment of his season, and possibly his career. If the bike feels right, if his ribs can take the strain, and if the team atmosphere lightens up, there's a chance he stays. But if the politics keep dragging things down and he can't match Ducati's pace, we could still see Martin and Aprilia locked in a courtroom battle over his exit and a risky, delayed switch to Honda. Here's what we do know. Jorge Martin's frustration isn't really about the bike, and it's not just the pain from broken bones. It's about trust, something that's been damaged almost as badly as his body, and mending that could be his biggest challenge yet. Martin's return is more than just a recovery story. It's a potential pivot point for his season, his bond with Aprilia, and maybe even for the entire MotoGP rider market. He's already conquered this sport once, but now he's up against something far more complicated than a crowded grid. He's trying to take back control of his own path. And the most unexpected part, the very things frustrating him now might end up being the reason he chooses to stay.